Haha, it was unexpected. You're standing out and drawing fire like that. To confirm our earlier speculation. Things are hidden in this city. Must be removed first. Waiting to solve them. The old man will come. 10 you recovered. You just stood there screaming. If you are a man, come out. To fight a battle. The wind on one side of the observer. The eyes are a little squinted. I kept calling and saw no one come out. The tiger in my head is full of confusion. It's not. We've come this far. And still no one cares about Sao. Very fast. He glanced at Shen Hong in the sky. Okay, you didn't come looking for me. I came looking for you. Jen could also feel the enemy's eyes. Turn your head and look back. I can only see that the back of the lake is constantly turning. School cone. 5 fire will moved out, according to his screams. There are fires fired out. Towards Tran Hung hit. While Chen Hung was stupid. I don't understand what happened. The wind suddenly appeared. Help him stop the fire. Don't distract him. Give it to me. You can deal with that gap. Tran Hung nodded. To be restored. Looking at the sword-bending station in the air, contemptuously said, only rely on you, but also want to prevent the fake Sao. Just finished. There are roots growing in the ground. Wrap his feet. If you add me, why? At the same time on the other side of the fence. Looking through binoculars is difficult to understand. Let's look a little closer. There are only normal little monsters. There's no great demon leading the team. It's just the spontaneous behavior of some low-level demon. I don't know what these guys are crazy about. But if it's already here, stay here. Finished talking, he put his hands up to prepare for the Japanese invasion. And then use a strong fan ba. Blow the black Japanese towards the ghosts. The demon saw the black Japanese coming to Kier. There's a little pause. A one-eyed monster in there. Then he turned his head and shouted. Scatter Ra. It's the day of the attack of the governor of Yanmen. The lovers are very fast. He was crushed by the black sun. Evil flying in the air saw his subordinates. To be eaten. Then completely indifferent, keep flying away. After a while, the demons hurried back into the forest. One side of the soldiers threw binoculars to observe the situation. Report immediately. The magic-loving master in foreign affairs has retreated. The corners of the mouth rise to the aesthetic. When our fate is complete. When the blood is flowing. The Great Wall cannot be captured. When will these mindless beasts realize it? Jiang Sun, Great Tun, complete can't be shaken. Right now, someone else rushed to the report. The Lord is not good. Something big has happened. I saw the enemy so quickly. Turn your head and shout. There is nothing you should be so afraid of in such haste. The Kier quickly announced. Take advantage of the confused country situation and the unpredictability of the heavens. Lord of the demons in outer space. Sneaked out alone. Go to Ha-Nem Tao. When you listen to that, the mouth is filled with foam. Move the scene to the European side. The 2 false prophets and lepers are still in the house. The prophet looked at the fake newspaper. But the false refuge was hidden. A little bit about the intelligence of the 4 statues. This point is absolutely correct. His faith in God is not enough. We need to give him some punishment. The fake newspaper nodded. Perhaps the seal of thought engraved by the missionary. In his soul has been loosened. Wait for them when they get back from work. Carve another seal. Viet trash onions hiding on one side. Look at it, all in the aesthetic. False refuge in God. These Westerners are Sao heretics. Then the Wu Yang almost disappeared, very likely related to them. Beneath the ground. Now the killing has stopped. Looking at the bodies in front of the doctor. These people are not resurrected. It's the limit. Wait a minute. Use the Blackwood card to contact your father. Let your father tell the bar. Locate here. Convenient to collect the bodies of these pagans. Right now, behind you, a door appears. I turned my head and looked in wonder. SAO doors are two Kier pagans. Call the rescuers back from the inside. The king's body slowly stepped out. Move the scene to the Laotian side. On the doors that Nin Trung opened. It was filled with fresh blood. More people were killed by him. The body floated on the water. A person with a knife stuck in his mouth. Don't stop screaming. Stop looking and come and save me. I watched them applaud. Not bad, not bad, try a little more. You can get out now. Real lady schoolgirl exclaimed angrily. The devil believes in you. At the same time, Tian Lao opened the first floor underground. Ken Kao Main. I brought Theo here. The lion's head on the door. When he saw someone coming, he asked, "What's the matter with you?" Gao replied coldly. The fate of Long, it's up to you. Gao came to take the traditional jade. Welcome to Tan Long. The lion's head continued to speak. You need to check your legs. High main quick, pull up sleeve. Then he held up his nose for the lion to smell. Smell a little later. The lion suddenly opened its mouth and bit his hand. Let fresh blood never stop flowing out. The high ground remained still, standing there without a frown. After a moment, the lion's head spits fresh blood in Ra's mouth. Taste right and come in. The door was then quickly opened. The prisoners inside. When you see the tall people coming in, and soaring and screaming, it's really busy today, someone has come. It's not that the war is about to end. When passing through a prison, the high priest stopped to look. The inside is now completely empty. I can't see the prisoner. He quickly turned around and asked the person behind him. The cell door is open. The prisoner is running out. I heard him ask. A prisoner next to him spoke up. I want to know if I can ask this guy. The high priest glanced at him. He then went to the front door of his cell and asked, "What happened here not long ago?" The prisoner laughed. Say a rah-rah, and I'll tell you. My good son, ha-ha. The high official heard that, hands to grab the opponent's head. Go away and find it myself. Very quickly all the memories of the prisoner, Kier, it was in his head. After a while he released the prisoner, Kier Ra. Then Ra is like that as Seo. There's a master masquerading as a low-level lover. Burst into the sky, Lao, Kim doesn't work with them. More, these people have gone down to the depths of the sky. I don't know their purpose yet. The prisoner downstairs, or the national treasure at the deepest level. Think for a moment. He continued to lead the crowd. Go downstairs. Master Chu Bin looked at the shadow of their backs aesthetically. Here is the chief monk of the great. Case management in the palace. It appears in the sky on the other side. After the king came out, look quickly to the left to see the situation. Fan Kai has now developed the Mandarin to probe the enemy. That's my position. You can't see the enemy's legs. Under this yellow cloak, what is the god of the world? Or the yellow cloak? It's a high-level magic. Has the effect of hiding Sao body legs. It's hard to think about. Then the king disappeared. A glance appeared before the traitor, not giving you any chance to react. He puts his hand out in front of you. Snap a skull. I was surprised by one of his tricks. Make it break. The king did not say a word from beginning to end. The traitor was dealt with by him. Move the scene back to Tian Lao. Right now, the master led the people to the second floor. The people quickly went to the main hole. Between the power, look at why you made this hole. This is too deep, right? You can't see the bottom. Tell me, the bad guys broke into the sky. Is it already? Be careful with your words. High key observation around aesthetics. There's a huge amount of unknown energy and sound scattered around. Among those who stormed in was the Shinto master Sao. I can't see the dog god anymore. Just thinking, he just walked to the door that leads to the third floor. Watch the scene in front of you. He uttered incomprehensible words. Inmates enter the cell on this floor. I can't see it either. Nin Trung has acted. Change the internal layout of Tian Lao Zhao. Stay here, and I'll go down and see. Gao told the people to complete the investigation, then quickly jumped down below. People don't notice that. Right under their feet. There's 2 people on the side of the crater right now. Move the scene back to the complaining place. Your second flame of life is now out. After a moment, the third flame of life broke out. Your eyes are open again. Then quickly sit up. The king is sitting on a chair, not far from reading. When he woke up, he closed the book. Are you awake? The state in front of the king is a false leader born. Martyrdom is not complete. He watched the enemy bite his teeth. Aesthetically, he knows my revival. I know it was meant to be resurrected like that. This sky doesn't put me in the eye. When the 7 gods were betrayed, the king stood up. He just walked towards you and said, I'm very interested in you being my man. The cold voice replied, dream. In your heart, your thoughts turn quickly. Calm down, the opponent's speed is not so fast. Not in time to react. Just make a little prediction. When I thought about it, the king appeared again. In front of you. Another hand snapped out. Then die again. Fan Kai was again hit by the enemy. But this time, his head didn't break, but only injured flying backwards. With that on the king. He also used a sword. Pierced. Fan Ki just flew out the back and aesthetic bet right. With such a large power gap. This yellow-clothed monster. They will not see us as a threat. Just use the Qigong prongs to protect your head first. In time for the sword, he will be. When you get a little excited, it's from inside Kier's robe. There's 2 tentacles sticking out. One in there quickly put up. Wrapped tightly around the long sword that was stuck on his chest, then definitely draw the long sword and throw it away. The king then looked at Fan Kai and said he was dead. Once I was able to find a way to solve the SAO. You are stronger, the names we bring to this world. More and more I want you to be my man. Finished talking, so he moved 4 tentacles in the direction of the universe. Go to Fan. Not enough time to react. They tied her neck and hands. Control the enemy. The king continued to ask. So what's your answer? Bite your teeth is the same thing you dream about. Inside the countersign. Now there's another sound. He is not the man you are now. Can deal with it. Give me your body quickly. The Kier sound just cracked. The fire of life in man suddenly changed. From normal yellow, it has now turned white. It burns several times more than normal. On the mortals, the magic never ceases to radiate. The corners of his mouth laughed. The wind time has come. Next, you have a general covering everything. Tentacles are in control. Your body was blown away. The king was a little surprised. After getting out of bondage, he looked at the opposite person and said, Next, I will be your opponent. This is a traitor general. The king also recognized the problem. A little interested. A dead body with traces of human intervention. Really is. It's an interesting renovation that moves the landscape towards the Lao. Opening. A prisoner is now falling from the air. Bottom single dress. At the bottom, there's an open mouth knife waiting. He's scared and he's screaming. You son of a bitch, you can't save yourself. The devil will not forgive you. Very quickly, he was swallowed alive by the poison knife. He then burps out extremely happy. She turned her head and looked at the lady who asked, "You're so sure about that?" Real estate bibliography, face wrinkled. If not, what can we do? That bastard Nin Trung, it's clearly torturing us to release. If you fight directly, you can't escape. You can only rely on your paper. Go upstairs to find CA. You use the magic of your family. The best of our two souls. To the outside world. If there is no body, you can go to the devil and buy a new one. Without a soul, you can use the wrong way to make it up to you. But if you are in heaven, sooner or later will also be used to replenish the number of diseases for the 4 statues. Moreover, Nin Trung was unkind from the beginning. 3 of the 5 doors he opened is to lead to the harsh world of painting. That's where you're supposed to be. If another AI gets lost in the world in the picture, maybe I can't figure it out for myself in my whole life. But the school we hold is different. That middle-aged bastard knows this too. Be extremely careful of us. I can only rely on you. Look at the people in front of you. No matter how stupid you are. Maybe he also realized. To escape into the world of painting, it was his only way out. Including him and his son, Chu Kier. The number of dead and the number of escaped. It's almost enough. It can be handed over. Come quickly. Let this farce end to its fullest. Right now, Gao went to the back of Nin Trung to ask, "Nin Trung, what are you doing?" When he heard the sound, he turned around. Look at the evidence inside the prison. If you see it, you know it as a good opportunity, without hesitation from inside the prison to release Ra. Where he's headed, it's obviously a door in the painting. His speed is too fast. Nin Trung was able to react and did not stop it. The reason is just like that. Under everyone's eyes. Easy to get into the picture. As soon as he came in, then the picture gradually disappears. Nin Trung saw that, and his face wrinkled. The prisoner has escaped. On the other side of the door, the Queen of the East has the same reason. It's now safe to appear on a prairie. The Queen looked at the question. You didn't say these doors had SAO traps. Relentless Reason replied. There is a trap, but what we choose has a very high probability of safety. Since Nin Trung opened this door, until we come in, Nin Trung is always skillful. Prevent the prisoners from getting close to it. The other doors I don't know. But this door is definitely fine. The Queen heard him analyze. Then ovulate, eyes full of love look at the enemy. The next 2 quickly left together. The Queen said it with a little regret. Unfortunately, I couldn't fight a battle. The reason exists. We still don't have many ways to deal with it. His poison. Wait until my strength is fully restored. Then calculate again. There are still many opportunities later. On the side of Lao heaven. Nin Trung is still staring up at the thought. It's also a door with access to the outside. It should not be opened. Who is this? The man who broke out was from the interrogation room. But the pulse is dead. Liked to be in the same cell with him. It's now soaking in a poisonous swamp. Then it's going to be AI, not in my cell. but run to where the body of the pulse is. Out 3 players out. Maybe there will be no AI. You're interested in the body of the judge. It is not true that there is still one. When Nin Trung thought, behind him, Gao continued to ask. I'm asking you, why didn't you answer me? Ning Trung is waking up right now. Turned his head, he replied. There is a Sun Yin lover, stormed into heaven, Lao pioneer. Even though we came in time to suppress them. However, it is still slightly damaged. The prisoners on this floor took that opportunity to rebel. And I'm busy fixing the consequences. Is this explanation clear enough? The high official pointed up and asked. Was clear. But what happened to the 3 doors above? Is it because you opened it? Nin Trung heard that and thought angrily. What are the 3 doors? They were still for wings. You are in a hurry to get out of it. It's about the prisoner getting away. The opposite side, the 2 spies looked at Nin Trung and Gao Zheng. Argue after a while. No matter, the new student turned his head to look at the message. I nodded at the 2 of them afterwards. My own part of the trick. Disappear in place. Ning Trung is still constantly looking at Gao Zheng. This was your Majesty's request that day. So that we can dissipate some of the natural disasters in Lao. To stabilize the state of your calamity. One of them runs to heaven. Ask my story. Your hands are too long. Calm down, Hai. Tian Lao, it is truly under your management. Not wrong, but there's a lot of disaster incarnations here. If there's a little bit of negligence, the story of the past will be repeated again. I need to ask a lot of questions about you. Based on the position of, the police wouldn't make such a decision. So it's the body in Kier's coffin. I have ordered you. Nin Trung heard that. His face dropped down to aesthetics, even though I heard him seriously. I have always had a very strong opinion of Gao. I didn't expect it to be so big. The name is not even called correctly. Now it's coming back from the other side. Yes, I told him to do that. In his hand, he also holds the book, according to the 2 Zhu messages. The calamity is about to go mad. To stop the day, we rise. Fight with the pink-foot fairy. While surrounded by the enemy. Forced to release some natural disasters. To help stabilize his condition. Just said. He just threw 2 Kier in front of Nin Trung. These 2 criminals. I took advantage of you when you talked. To sneak downstairs. He was caught by my hand. I said, Nin Trung, you obviously have a trick. Not inferior to anything serious Hoa. And talent is only behind the counter flag, but when dealing with the enemy. You've always been so easy. Give them a chance. The same thing happened in the past when dealing with water fires in the Yellow River. Obviously you don't. It took so much fate. Even though there's very little in the world capable of threatening you. But once the habit of fighting has been established, I'm not saying it can be changed. If there really is a serious day no more. Quiet and counterproductive, I can't help you. You can only lead by yourself to deal with extremely powerful people. Have a deep soul. If you are better than you have to do it. Ning Trung heard him teach. Then immediately put your hands down. Your Majesty said I will change. Gao Huang sighed silently. You have changed that strangely. Then he looked at the other person and asked. Why are you here? He replied coldly and tried to ask. People who wake up early, it's not also because of the SAO disorder. The high scenery has activated the upper part of the sword. The world is also about to welcome Tan Long. I came to take the traditional jade to welcome Tan Long to the throne. Sign is just a little confirmation. Then he took out the national treasure. Give it to the main. Here, take it. Is there anything else? If not, please come back. We have to go back to the coffin and rest. The high official said it was over. But there's only one big group. Don't think that you put on the appearance of the family. You can call yourself the emperor. Hai calmly replied. Of course, this is clearly understood. When you hear that, bite your teeth. Dare to claim to be the cause. He then couldn't help but shout. What shouldn't exist? Be honest, go back to sleep in the coffin. That's good for everyone. Ning Trung saw him behave like that. Then stand out. You dare to disrespect your majesty. Gao quickly put his hand to stop him. Calm down a little. Whether we were born by chance or not. Only the emperor knows this. Otherwise, you will not be indecisive. Take me to the deepest part of the dungeon. Keep it tight until the variables change. If you don't want to see me, come back soon. Just hand over the work. What's the point of staying here and arguing? Hai main cold. You don't need a reminder. After that, his body disappeared where he left off. Nin Trung just glanced at Gao Thin to say, Your Majesty at the star. High Prosperity calmly replied, The whole world can think that I am the emperor. But there's only one master. The royal family can't think that. It's a matter of stance. They also have their own suffering. That's right. I see that the foreign currency has been used. You let someone go. Nin Trung quickly responded. It seems that the king exists. I heard that Hu Kao's face was wrinkled. I didn't say that, by the way. After death, follow the path of martyrdom. It will help a lot in the future. Why did you let him go? Nin Trung quickly responded. Now the body will go to contact the Yen. Let him take you back up to the second floor. The high priest just left. Without even knowing. From above, they have two paper people flying out. They seem to have a purpose, straight into Lao's house. When I saw that, my eyes widened a little. At the same time, on the other side of the fence, Quiet is asking right now. The person next door, where do you want to go? Have you figured it out? People look at nature on the handlebars. On the hexagonal image is Liao City. Keep quiet and ask again. Have you sent the news to the pioneers? The Kier nodded. It has been sent, and nods quietly. Then quickly prepare the funds. Destination located in Liaocheng 1,000 meters outside. People hear that. Quickly say out a sentence full of damage. So gas to launch the fund. Will you still come out this time? When I heard that, I was almost angry. Fell on the ground on the side of the city. The two legs of the tiger has been completely entangled by the roots of the myrtle. Tigers have no fear. On the contrary, he smiles contemptuously. Then why would I add you? The same kind of trick for the false deity. It's useless. Just said. His fifth finger also caught fire. Burn him up. He swirled the club in his hand. Then plummet to the ground. The fifth finger of the Buddha. Follow his movements. From below the ground, around him, there were 5 firecrackers. It is difficult to understand how to say 5 fire. Foot Buddha destroy the matrix Sao. It shouldn't be. Buddha down to earth. It's not very restricted. Sao, there are so many tricks of this guy. My mouth is now explaining. That's because when you restore the world, chose to burn the Buddha's hands, it's even more difficult to understand. What is a burning hand? As soon as he finished speaking, his mouth screamed carefully. The wind station turned around and looked. Then he saw the tiger swinging towards him. Fortunately, there is a reminder of the mouth. So Fong Station was in time to avoid Ra. Then he dodged a Kier. Recover a failed 7 strike, then spit out a sip of saliva. Swearing at 5 food apple tree fig tree. Waiting for me to get this sword. I'll tear you off his face and throw you on his ass. The scared face screamed. It's gone, it's gone, it's gone. The master has paid attention to me. The wind doesn't pay attention to it. The cold face looks at the tiger. That's for sure. Then look at the mouth. I am here. What are you afraid of? Or do you feel? Even if I have your intelligence. Nor fight him back. Don't forget that your master was sent by me. My mouth hears these words. Calm down, right? A little acid, I forgot. So we're talking about burning the Buddha's hands. The trick itself has no fighting power. It's a trick played by the masters of the land. Because you want to go beyond the rules of heaven and create. To put it simply, is to separate in the lower world, through his own knuckles, to receive the grace of the heavenly body. For example, the tiger. 5 fire-foot Buddha destroyed demons great that he just used. It's because he got it from my own being in the world. I heard that Fong Station understood Ra little. Waiting for the sacrifice and the grace, you say. It means a finger, corresponding to a kind of Sao trick. The mouth quickly answered. That's what it is. Touch the wind squinting at the hand of the tiger. This guy burned 5 fingers. It's also saying now. He's got 5 kinds of fairy tricks. Different ranks. Sao, another party strictly Hoa, is still ongoing. Go to Feng's Spring section. All the movements in the city. It was quickly absorbed into his eyes. I can't believe there are so many hidden pockets in the city. Fortunately, we knew this news. If not, they will suffer greatly. We found all the underground piles. Then removed them all once before. When the opponent reacts. On the other side, there are no longer any clouds, attached by electric pull to. The one who led them was Chen Hong. Is implementing the law. The lake at the bottom. It is also constantly rotating the scaffold. 5 fire rotation. Tran Hung's goal this time. It's not a crack. It's the giant minister of restoration below. The 2 sides of the VA hit the terrible earthquake and landslide. At the same time above the crack. He looked down and said, the Kier master is no longer destroying the gap. Kuan Yin calmly replied that the lake had stopped him. Universal said again, do you really want to wait for Goddess forgiveness? You are afraid of Kier Ra and then cross the Sao world. The inner workings of this world are beyond our expectations. If it continues to last, there may be more variables. Until then, I'm afraid there will be no chance of a better future than now. When he heard these words, his face dropped. Does not land below the frequency of the distant. Observe the battle of the tiger suit. In my heart, I never stop thinking talk to another player. Not in the plan to appear. If it continues like this. And the demonic guru. Not even in the war. The situation in Liao City has begun to change in a way that's good for the army. He could not force the sword of the Lord. Our next plan will not work. On the other side, I am standing in front of a painting. This is his treasure trove. I can't believe one day we'll have to use it. Watch for a moment. He stuck his hand inside the scroll. I saw what he pulled out. The devil's eyes immediately widened. That's the law to seal the great Nine Kang Sao. Strictly speaking, not much. Quickly pull the lid off the jar Ra. To drink fresh blood to the sea sword. According to his cry. Inside, countless blood swords flew out. They quickly become. Countless religions spread throughout Liao City. People who see the light. It's all incredibly amazing. What is this flying gas? It looks very similar to the painting, the blood of the old man. The lake doesn't notice. Still constantly attacking the state of the wind. It's annoying, these FLIs. At this moment, the sound of Gen Tianyang came out again. Remind him to hurry up, so that all the underground piles in the city turn into your followers. Then let them. Not finished talking, the lake yelled at him. Wait for the mortals. He has not been converted into a monk. To prepare for the master. The frequency of the cold. Not in time. The light of the blood is turned by the sword. He quickly entered many houses in the city. Seriously, the face is down now. It only kills 1/3 of it, shouldn't it? Who were struck by the bloody sword. He immediately appeared as the monk. The city quickly became chaotic. You are not my husband. Who are you? Something big has happened. The young man has been replaced. You're not my mother. Give her back. Original bar navigation page. Induced troops are called out by the people. When angry to gnash teeth. Why the hell did something like that happen? And then he turned his head and looked at Antarctica. Old man job to restore the transformation of the city. To honor my second god. Do you finally know? Antarctic foot soldiers do not respond. The soldiers of the army became even more angry. Hurry up and answer me. See the enemy so excited. At this time, the Antarctic foot soldiers have spoken. If I told you what you would do. The magic stick of the foot soldiers quickly responded. Restore order, of course. Lake closed by thunder. And then back to the world. Reporting things. You have made God proud. Antarctica's foot soldiers sighed when they heard that. Yan Qian, you really don't realize that. Or realized but didn't want to admit. And people who have never met. Appeared in the past. They appear in the world at the same time. What does this mean? Maybe we should just say, Ra or Sao. Can't shake a grain of sand in your eye. It's not your fault. But if you get in people's way, that's a problem. It's yours. Yan Qian gritted his teeth angrily when he heard that. Say every word. If you have the guts, say it again. On one side, the lake is also amazing right now. We shouldn't. We transform sentient beings. They biochemical us. It was created by Maitreya Buddha. It's possible for believers to inherit power from their original. Why the monks inherited a part of my immortal diamond body. Suddenly, Seven lost 1/3 of a word. The Kier sword is so powerful Sao. While he is still dead. The wind has hit again. The tiger could not escape. The enemy slashed him in the face. Looking back at the wound on his face. It's even more amazing. There are 2 more people in this world. It is capable of hurting us. This is ridiculous. Feng Station. When I cut a sword, I turned my head. Tran Hung, pay attention. He may have the body of the last immortal jewel. The effect that my sword has on him is very poor. He gritted his teeth and watched them think. Why this world can exist so many people? Is it possible to intimidate a false leader like that? The false leader is here. What the hell did you do? As much potential danger as this, and still leave. He continued to tell Tran Hung. The celestial Buddha in the opposite crack. I don't know why. There is no sign of coming. Let's first bypass the Kier gap. Let's first stop this Arat. Waiting for him seriously. Eliminate all the hidden dangers in the city. Then they joined forces to try to kill him. Tran Hung heard and immediately nodded. When you can hear it, you laugh. Kill me, Sao. The ants don't know the sky. The distance between the chief priest and the mortals. It only takes a few more people to make up for it. What are you kidding? If it wasn't for the Hans. I don't want to be a royal treasure here. To kill, we used all our power. I've wiped out your ants. If this life could not be avoided, then the Arak is no longer hiding. When he finished, he started burning his fingers.